Greetings again, everyone. Welcome to the twochimps.net 5-minute trading tips. I'm Jake Bernstein.
And I'm Elliot Bernstein.
Today we're going to talk about cycles. Cycles have been around for a long time. Cycles are easy to use, they're easy to find, but easy to misuse. Edward R. Dewey, the director of the Foundation for the Study of Cycles, often said that cycles are the mysterious forces that trigger events. The important thing about cycles is once you find them, which is in and of itself quite a job, you have to know how to use them. Remember that cycles fit into our setup, trigger, and follow-through pattern. It's a trading model. Let me show you something quite amazing. This is a chart of the British pound versus the US dollar futures all the way back close to the start of trading in the British pound versus the US dollar. I'm going to take my cycle finder tool, and remember, you can use all sorts of complicated tools to find cycles, mathematics, Fourier analysis, Box-Jenkins, all the rest of that stuff. I use the cycle finder tool on Trade Navigator. Most of the trading software should have a similar tool. I just go and get my cycle finder tool and I find something that looks like a cycle. So when I look at the chart, I see this pattern here, this pattern here, this pattern here. They seem to be equidistant. So I'm simply going to take my cycle finder tool, position it on one of the lows, and click and drag it across to another low like so. And once I've achieved that low, which is right over here, I'm going to let it go and examine its accuracy. Well, isn't that something? Holy crap. Look at all these cyclical lows. We've got a low in 1984. We've got a low about 7 years later, 8 years later in 1992. A low about 8 years later, and again and again. And here's a projected low looking into 2017. They're not all this easy, but they're very clear once you find them. You just have to do a little bit of research. If I wanted to, I could come back and find a half cycle. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, I'm going to take this cycle tool again, and you'll find in many cases there's a 50% cycle of the original one. So if we go back to the cycle finder like so, I come from the original low right over here, and I find halfway through, which would be approximately right over here where I'm going to stop. So just bear with me. And now I've got two cycles within one. And in order to make this a little bit easier to see, I'm going to change the color of one of these like so to blue. And this is no fancy stuff. This is really very simple. But when you have cycles like this that are so regular, for example, there's one in the Japanese yen that's almost as beautiful as this one, if not more so. These are easy to find, but remember, they're not complicated, but they're difficult to use if you're not using timing.
Like Jake said, cycles are just another tool, which in this case will help you get close to major turning points. Let's remember that, in our experience, cycles are best used for intermediate and long-term situations. They need to be combined with timing using our setup trigger followed through trading model. Some people would have you believe that cycles are predictable to the very day. While this may be true for some seasonal patterns, which are forms of cycles, it's not true for long-term cycles. Jake has a few more examples he's going to show you.
Here's the Japanese yen, and take a look at the beauty of this cycle. A low in 1990, a low in 1999, 1998, another low about 7 years later, and another low just recently, another low that's developing right now, which is due to bottom by the end of 2015. Let's see how this turns out. Cycles are a beautiful thing, but remember, you've got to use them with timing. How? Easy. We've got a projected low late this year. As we get closer to the end of the year, zoom in on this method, on this market with weekly timing triggers. The weekly timing triggers would be divergence, moving average channel, the 8 open close, or any of the other methods that we use and teach.
Don't get carried away by being compulsive with cycles. We've seen some people try to predict cycles to the very minute. While we don't have all the answers for cycles, we do know what works for us and what experience has taught us.
So come back and see us again at 5-Minute Trading Tips. We like your company. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know if we're helping you. Remember, this is quick, down and dirty, but it's clear. There's more information to be had at our website, www.twochimps.net, or write us. Here's the information on the last slide.
See you next time.
Bye.